Man, it's gonna be wicked freaking cold in the Syracuse, New York area and all of central New York and the state of New York in all honesty, man. Oh my goodness, it's been cold already, man. In all seriousness, what is going on, everybody? Welcome over to Lucas E. Allen at 1080 on YouTube and all audio platforms, Lucas E. Allen Show, which is LimitsCenter podcast for Thursday, January 29th, 2026. For anything else, follow me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Mainly Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Lucas E. Allen. Watching today's podcast, I also say Cyrus on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok as well. Watching today's podcast on YouTube, click the like button on today's podcast. Hit the subscribe button if you've done so already. Turn bell for our post notifications and up on this channel. And always leave a comment like my episode for your Thursday, January 29th of 2026. Watch on Spotify, also level a 5-star rating and comment as well as say at least. As always, I'm using my freaking new headset, obviously, just got the other day. Hope you guys can hear me, obviously. It's all that freaking matters, obviously. As always, let's get on to today's topics today, shall we? Because first, your AEW Dynamite, January 28th, 2026 review, including the debut of Tommaso Ciampa. Thought it was pretty fun if you ask me. Didn't care for Mark Briscoe and Al Cole TNT Championship match at all, but still. I'm going to be discussing that. Not a lot of news as well, but there's 3 pieces of news. I'm obviously a review of Dynamite too. So Pat McAfee expected to return to WWE television very soon. Be discussing that. I'll also be discussing WWE. Has discussed NXT and AAA stars for the Royal Rumble this weekend, obviously. I discussed that. Also discussing Tiffany Stratton. Again, we just reported her in yesterday's podcast for the 28th of 2026, January 28th of 2026 edition of LimitsCenter. Discussed her again with Tiffany Stratton's plan to return to WWE Royal Rumble this Saturday. Gee, you don't say, man. Of course she'll be returned, obviously. Any idiot or freaking can realize that shit, honestly. But anyways, we'll discuss it all in today's podcast. Glad you're joining me. As I was going to say, it's your Thursday edition of LimitsCenter for your Thursday, January 29th of 2026 on today's podcast, ladies and gentlemen. And starting with, you guessed, your AEW Dynamite January 26th, 2026 review. Or excuse me, January 28th of 2026 review. Sound like a fucking robot there, honestly, but it is what it is. Starting with Kenny Omega. He kicks off the show to defeat Rocky and Romero to start the show. What a fucking random way to open your Dynamite, Tony Khan. You start with Kenny Omega, which is not bad, obviously. But you face with fucking Rocky fucking Romero, whatever his fucking name is, from New Japan Pro Wrestling. This, my friends, is an overall grade of a D fucking plus. Yeah, a D plus. Who the fuck cares to start your show with Kenny Omega and Rocky Romero? On what planet do you seriously care, you AEW sickos? And that's funny, I'm making fun of the WWE Freako fan base, but still. Making fun of both the sickos and the Freakos, obviously, both companies, obviously. They're both one and the same, in my opinion. But this match was fucking, I don't care. Easily the worst thing on your show. You start something with this, to say the least. Not great if you ask me for Tony Khan. A D fucking plus, ladies and gentlemen. And moving on to Jon Moxley, the reigning defending AEW Continental Champion. He defeats Ace Austin in the AEW Continental Championship Eliminator match. I gotta be honest, ladies and gentlemen. I am sick and tired of the Eliminator matches, especially the same ones at AEW did the Continental Championship, the World Championships for men and women. Like, I am fucking tired of them, man. This match wasn't bad. It's a B minus. It was solid for what it was. I just don't fucking care because the freaking Eliminator matches. Why, Tony Khan? Unbelievable. I am tired of the Continental Championships, like, Eliminator shit with Jon Moxley. It's getting old after a while, you think, right? I think it's getting old for me, honestly. It's getting old for me, honestly, man. It is what it is. This gets a B minus, whatever, man. Let's just move on. Mark Briscoe, first memorable thing on the show. Or he's semi-memorable, you get the point. Mark Briscoe, the reigning defending AEW TNT champion, defeats El Clone to retain the said AEW TNT championship. And after the match, you got Briscoe issuing an open challenge for anyone for AEW Collision this week on Saturday night. Probably after the Royal Rumble, obviously. And Tommaso Ciampa, the former WWE superstar with DIY with his best friend Johnny Gargano, answered the challenge. I freaking love Tommaso Ciampa in All Elite Wrestling. To me, I don't care for the El Clone and Mark Briscoe match. I'm sorry, I just don't care. I don't care about an El Clone, honestly. Doesn't mean I don't like Tommaso Ciampa. He's fucking phenomenal. And I'm glad he's with AEW, man. People want this man fucking TNA. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? On what plan? I'm tired of the freaking TNA hype, man. From guys like Matt Hardy, being the second biggest wrestling company in the world. They are just simply not. They are not the second biggest wrestling company in the world. Especially at the AMC debut, man. I don't care how good it'd be good after that. I mean, it'd be good the second week. It kind of was, in my fact, I've heard from TNA fans. Or even like this week, obviously it's Thursday, obviously with this. But I just don't fucking give a shit about TNA. I don't care if they're on never television or not anymore. I don't care. The AMC debut was freaking awful. Okay, brand new recording, you could probably tell, obviously. With the freaking the freaking horn with applause in my city of Syracuse, New York. Outside my control, obviously. You can't make this shit up, man. You probably heard it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so sorry if you heard that shit, obviously. It was freaking... I can't. It's outside my control, obviously, ladies and gentlemen. Back to standard programming, obviously, shall we? And fuck plows in Syracuse, obviously. Anyways, back to this shit. We got Tommaso Ciampa, obviously, interrupting this, saying he'd be the new challenger for Mark Briscoe at TNT Championship. And obviously, you get him and Mark Briscoe for a TNT Championship. Obviously, a Collision this week. Not that I care about Collision. It's great to see Tommaso Ciampa in AEW, though. The guy's a freaking phenomenal pro wrestler. Great to see him in AEW to say, I don't care about TNA. This bullshit with TNA. I don't care. They're all WWE. It's like a fourth brand for WWE. And a second brand for NXT. I'm sorry. I cannot fucking care about TNA. Especially at that god-awful AMC debut on AMC, obviously. Oh, the show's better in the second week. I don't give a fuck. First impressions mean everything, man. And that first impression sucked freaking ass, obviously. They're not the second biggest company in the world for wrestling. Sorry, not sorry. You TNA freaking fans. And you AEW haters, obviously. And you WWE freakos, obviously. But this was not bad, man. I didn't care for the El Clone and Mark Briscoe match, but I love the fact that Tommaso Ciampa is right out of the gate challenging for a championship. There's $1 billion championships in this company. So why the fuck not at this rate? It's not like it's the world title. This is one of the mid-card titles of the TNT Championship. Gave this to be, obviously. A very fun match. It was an okay match with El Clone and Mark Briscoe. But great to see Tommaso Ciampa in AEW. You know, by the way, already he left the WWE like as of this week. He was already in AEW. That's freaking, oh my god, didn't they gave no freaking shits about tomorrow? They said, Tony Khan said, right the fuck now, you're debuting Tommaso. What do you want me to say? To say the least, man. But this gets to be, like I said. Moving on to MJF, the reigning defending AEW World Champion. Came out to talk about his AEW World Championship future, but Brody King quickly interrupted. He advised MJF that he would face him next week in a championship eliminator match. Oh yeah, another freaking eliminator match. Oh joy, Tony Khan. It's like his one-on-one special is eliminator matches for championships. Oh fucking joy. Face him next week for the world title. We'll win the Grand Slam match at Grand Slam Australia, obviously. This was February 15th. When it fucking takes place. Maybe it's on Valentine's Day. Maybe it is. I don't fucking know, honestly. But honestly, this is okay for what it was. Give it a B-. I just don't like eliminator matches or another shot at the World Championship. This time it's MJF's title. Like, why, bro? Why? I cannot care. Because Brody King stands a negative 100% chance of negative 100 as a chance to beat MJF next week. I mean that wholeheartedly. Especially with the World Championships on the line. And then it's not, it's a eliminator match, a championship shot at Grand Slam Australia, but still. This gets a B-. I just didn't fucking care. Just hear my mom. I'm sorry if you heard that shit, people. But this shit, I just don't care. I just don't care. What want me to say, people? You want me to say? This gets a B-. Moving on, Chris Statlander, reigning defend AEW Women's World Champion, defeats Tekla to retain the AEW Women's World Championship. For time for the best card in the show, by the way. Give it a B+. This is a banger, bro. I love this match. This does be on my list, my end of the month messing list, obviously. My top favorite matches of January 2026. It's going on second YouTube channel, Lucas Ciano, obviously go check that out. And I love this match is pretty freaking good if you ask me. Big Stat fan, but much I love Chris Statlander. Tekla I'm not too keen on. A little more after this match, I actually quite like her more, honestly. Gave this a B+. Very fun match, obviously. I think Kerry had to get to the point where Tekla got to pin Chris down in the 6-woman tag a couple weeks ago on Dynamite, but still. Gave this a B+. Moving on to FTR. The reigning defend AEW World Tag Team Champions. Defeat Jack Doyle, aka Jake something from old TNA, obviously. And Mark Davis to retain the AEW World Tag Team Championships. This gets a B-. I don't care. No, there's nothing like bad, like nausea on this show, minus the opening match with Kenny Omega and Rocky Romero. But this, I just was a bunch of mid shit on Dynamite this week. I gotta be honest, other than Tommaso Ciampa debuting in AEW, this is the only like memorable thing I would think on the show. And like a couple of good matches like Statlander and Tekla against the main event, obviously, a shocking outcome there. But still, give us a B-. It's an okay tag match. I just didn't think we need to put the titles on the round, but then again, Jake something and Jack Doyle, and Mark Davis wanted tag team championship more contenders match. So I don't care about that at all, but it's a different story for another day. This gets a B-. I just don't fucking care, man. Whenever we can get Adam Copeland and Christian Cage back and get them to the first base in the FTR for AEW World Tag Team titles is when I'll care about this FTR tag team title run. This gets a B- though. Between them and Jack Doyle and Mark Davis. And on to a very shocking outcome in my opinion. But then again, I should have realized this a long time ago. When Andrade El Idolo made his Dynamite return, obviously a couple more months ago. When he attacked Kenny Omega. But Andrade El Idolo in the main event defeats Swerve Strickland, and like I said, the main event. He gave us a B+ and banger match, obviously. This is freaking fun. This is a fun match, man. Big Andrade fan, very big Andrade. He's a great, phenomenal pro wrestler. Same thing with Swerve Strickland. This is a very fun man. I was shocked by this scene. Swerve taking an L to Andrade. I was kind of shocked by that. But I can't complain. Andrade is freaking great. Next we get Andrade El Idolo and Kenny Omega one-on-one match. Sign me the fuck up for that one, man. That is going to be fun if you ask me. Especially world title implications in this too. Grand Slam Australia, obviously. This is pretty fun if you ask me. Give us a B+, man. Very fun main event, obviously. Last 2 weeks in Swerve Strickland's main event Dynamite. And you got an A- to him and Kevin Knight. Also a B+ this week, him on Andrade El Idolo. Very fun match, if you ask me, for the last 2 weeks for Swerve Strickland in the main event of Dynamite. That gets a B+ as your show grade. For AEW Dynamite, January 28th, 2026 is a B-. Okay, Dynamite, if you ask me, not the greatest, not the worst, obviously, whatsoever. Some 3 pieces of wrestling news, and we'll get on out of here for today's podcast, man. Pat McAfee. Obviously, the former Colts punter, and obviously, we'll have to tag with the commentators, him and Michael Cole. Pat McAfee expected to return to WWE television very soon. Oh joy, oh joy. Pat McAfee is reportedly nearing a return to WWE television. The popular commentator has been absent from the company's programming for several months due to his commitments to ESPN and obviously College Game Day for college football. For NFL during the football season, obviously. However, with the college football season now concluding, obviously in the end defeating Miami Hurricanes in the national championship, speculation about his comeback has been ramped up. According to a report from WrestleVotes Radio and Fightful Select, WWE sources believe that McAfee is expected to come back to the company very soon. A specific date has not been confirmed. The timing aligns with the end of football broadcasting duties for the season, obviously. WrestleVotes says, and I quote, "We're told with his college football commitments now fulfilled for the season, WWE sources are expecting Pat McAfee to return to television in the near future, with some believing that timing could come together sooner rather than later. WWE is eager to utilize his talents both on their programming and through McAfee's massive social reach, media reach, obviously, as Pat McAfee show on ESPN, stuff like that, reach as the road to WrestleMania Rampage amp up. No surprise that Pat McAfee is going to be on his way back, but is going to come together sooner rather than later. So he's ready to rock and roll as we get closer to WrestleMania. Obviously, it's good when he's on WWE TV. People love him. He's entertaining. End quote. I wouldn't say that. He's kind of stale a little bit on WWE television a little bit. But is he kind of useful to the commentary booth? He makes Michael Cole do his best work, obviously, when he's on commentary with Pat McAfee. So I can definitely say that, but definitely when he interacts with Jey Uso and he eats shit, that's where I get fucking pissed off to the Ultimate Holy, obviously. Like, that's freaking ridiculous, man. We don't fucking care about biased commentators in professional wrestling. I'm sorry, people. I know it's a babyface commentary duo, but still. Keep up updated when Pat McAfee inevitably comes back to WWE as he inch closer and closer to WrestleMania 42, in all honesty, to say at least. Keep up on Pat McAfee for sure. Moving on, WWE has discussed NXT and AAA stars for the Royal Rumble this Saturday afternoon in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. With the Royal Rumble set to take place in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia this Saturday, speculation regarding the surprise entrance is reaching fever pitch. An report from WrestleVotes Radio on Fightful Select has identified 3 specific talents who have been discussed for the spots in the prestigious matches. According to the report, NXT standouts Sol Ruca and Lola Vice have been brought up in potential participants to the Women's Royal Rumble match. I'd love to see Sol Ruca, and I only care to see Lola Vice in the main roster. You know me, I'm not a big Lola Vice fan. Big Sol Ruca fan, big fan of her fucking finisher. She's one of the best finishers on professional wrestling, especially the females. But Ruca has been heavily speculated to the event after being noticeably absent from recent episodes of NXT. Vice is also in conversation to make the trip to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, obviously. Perhaps the most surprising name is mentioned in the report is Mr. Iguana, which I fucking hope does not happen. You know, Santino Marella, in my opinion. The AAA has reportedly been discussed as internally for a spot in the men's Royal Rumble match. In addition to potential surprises, the report confirmed that the SmackDown superstar Tiffany Stratton, let's go to the next segment, obviously, in Saudi Arabia, is scheduled to compete in the Women's Royal Rumble match as well. We'll discuss in the next segment, obviously, as well. A quick note on potential surprises from NXT and AAA. Brands could be represented in the Royal Rumble. Sources indicate that both Lola Vice and Sol Ruca have been discussed for NXT for the Women's Royal Rumble, while AAA's Mr. Iguana has been talked about internally on the men's side, end quote. From WrestleVotes on Video and Fightful Select. I don't mind Sol Ruca, but I don't. It's okay to see Lola Vice in that to a point. I just don't give a shit about Mr. Iguana whatsoever, man. Sorry, not a fan of Mr. Iguana and his stupid gimmick he possesses. I'm sorry. Just not a fan of that style whatsoever, honestly. But I'd love to see Sol Ruca, especially if he puts a snow stasher in that match. I mean, damn. That'd be perfect if you ask me. Keep you updated and not going forward, obviously, to say, since we're closer and closer to Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia this Saturday afternoon, January 31st, 2026. And finally, everyone, for your LimitsCenter podcast, for your Thursday, January 29th of 2026, Tiffany Stratton, the lovely Tiffany Stratton, Mr. Deary, obviously, is planning to return to the WWE Royal Rumble this Saturday afternoon, obviously. Gee, you don't say. Wonder where you heard this from. Oh, that's right, on a podcast yesterday from this guy right here. A lot of our different content creators, too, I will say. Permanent WWE Women's Champion Tiffany Stratton is poised to make her return to the ring this Saturday at the Royal Rumble in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. WrestleBuzz Radio and Fightful Select, the third report I was discussing them today. The reports that Stratton is currently in Saudi Arabia and is planned to be an entrant to the Women's Royal Rumble match. Like I said, gee, you don't say. This comes to fruition and will mark the first appearance for WWE programming in nearly 3 months since she lost the Women's Championship and since the Jade Cargill on Saturday night's main event for November 1st of 2025, obviously. Stratton has been known as the opposite of SmackDown since November, obviously, like I just mentioned, sparking widespread speculation about her status at the company as well. And now, it remains to be seen what she does in a Royal Rumble. I would think she'd make the last, like I would say, like 7 at bare minimum. Definitely probably in the last top 5, obviously, before someone gets eliminated, obviously, from her. Probably even set like a WrestleMania, but like maybe let's just say like potentially like Julia, maybe that'd be a fun match. Julia and Tiffany Stratton for the Women's United States Championship WrestleMania. Sign me the fuck up for that one, man. That'd be something definitely for Julia to get her teeth and sink her teeth into as a Women's United States Champion, feuding with the former World Champion Tiffany Stratton. That would be great if you ask me. We ain't found that though, Salies. Keep up though when Tiffany Stratton comes back to WWE at the Royal Rumble, obviously this Saturday afternoon. Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, on January 31st of 2026. And that is your LimitsCenter podcast for your Thursday, January 29th of 2026. I'm Lucas C. Allen 1018 on YouTube and all audio platforms. Lucas C. Allen Show. Thank you all for watching. Lucas C. Allen on 1018 on YouTube and all audio platforms. Lucas C. Allen Show. Which your LimitsCenter podcast for your Thursday, January 29th of 2026. And catch you, hopefully, knock on wood. More content, maybe potentially taking the second channel of Lucas C. Allen, and as well potentially for Lucas C. Allen Productions podcast. I'm going to do that for a long time since the conference championship games happened. I just didn't get the chance to do that yesterday whatsoever, because obviously I uploaded the LimitsCenter podcast yesterday around like 9 o'clock, something like that. But still, I'll hopefully give you all to about your Lucas C. Allen Productions podcast today as well. Until next time, trust me next time, right? Peace, love, buddy. I am out. Take care. Love you all big time, to say the least.